let's go over how to get up from the roll, okay? So we already did all the other stuff. I'm just gonna roll. This is how I get up. My hips are gonna be lower than my shoulder. There's no more inertia going that way. I step up and I'll move back into Hanmi, okay? I'll do it again. Boom. Into Hanmi. Okay, let's try that. All right, so in the first clip I noted like there's no more inertia going that way before you come up. And so to be clear, I will take a 4-point stance and my hands will stay on the mat until that inertia leaves. Okay, so it's looking like this. You're gonna watch how my hands stay on the mat, inertia left, then I came up. Inertia left, then I came up. I don't want to use momentum to come up like that, okay? The reason being, you roll that way and use your momentum to come up. Okay? If I got thrown, why do I want to focus on the nage? Because that's teaching me that's the threat and we don't break obs on the threat. You don't ever do that, okay? So if I'm still the threat, he survived the throw, he goes to do that, he does that, and you're gonna get him very easily, okay? So you don't want to get up fast or easily. You get up when you can, and you have to assess first whether you can get up or not, okay? And that, if I have to assess, I'm going to assess from the most stable, neutral position that I can. And transitioning from Gedan up to Jodan is not a neutral position because I am generating inertia on top of the roll. So we don't do that. You never seek height when someone's charging at you. You have to be clear of that attack before you actually seek height. So all the inertia is gone, hands stay on the mat, and the movement from here to Hanmi is totally done under your complete power. There's no inertia that's assisting you to get there, okay? We'll try it again. So here would be my nage, okay? And he would throw me that way. And my eyes are on him the entire time. So I don't look this way. I don't look down. I'm going to always look at him as I do my roll. Always looking at him. My head turns really quick when I do that, okay? Really quick when I do that, okay? Let's bring that in. All right, when you get up, you are already vectoring your mass, your yang aspect onto your midfoot. And it is very much like a back squat at that point. So a drill that I like to do, because even here today, I have people that are using some inertia or have the inertia shift their weight to their heels. let's say Andor has the inertia shift their weight to their heels, and this is just not martially viable. So we do this drill to get us aware of what's happening to our body with this inertia. So I will do the roll. He will come in while I'm in this position. He'll come in, and I will just pick him up. We'll do it again. We're here. He comes in, and I will pick him up. Again, he comes in, and I will pick him up. Okay? I'm not trying to throw him. I'm just letting him off my shoulder at the end. All right, try. So I'll better describe the drill. We haven't done it in a while. Taylor forgot it. All the uke does is just keep walking towards the person. He stopped on me on that first rep. Some of you were stopping on each other, but he just walks towards me, over me, and I'm up. Okay, again. We're here. He walks towards me, and I'm up. Okay? If I was on my heels, when he walked towards me, he'd knock me back. Okay? That's why he has to keep walking. He would expose the heel weight. Okay? Try it again. Andrew's gonna roll. Let's go ahead. Good. We'll do it again from that side. We'll do it again from that side. Use that line, please. Stop. Use that line right there. Go. Again. Okay, you can see how he's going in. He's rolling inwardly. On the first rep where he didn't have the line, it was even more pronounced. Now he has the line and he realizes, oh yeah, Sensei don't like us rolling inwardly, so I'm going to fix myself. Why don't you fix yourself without me here, right? Okay, what I want you to do is, you see that line? You're going to roll with your hips going north. So that would be to your right. You're not going to even roll straight this time. Go. There you go. And again. And again. Okay, so that's the drill I would like for you all to do. This in the small forward roll, okay? We already know that the closer my hips, the vertical vector of my hips is to the vertical vector of my shoulders, then I'm going to have more stacking of mass. I'm going to have more mass at impact with the mat. Mass times acceleration equals force, therefore I'm going to have more force at contact with the mat. The longest or the furthest distance I can have between the shoulder vertical plane and the hip vertical plane is the one you see right now, the length of my spine. If we tuck, I just brought my hips closer to my shoulders. We don't want to do that because that's going to stack mass, that's going to increase force at impact. One of the things that is getting you is you're stuck in the somersaulting. This, in Japanese, this is maukemi. There's no reference to rolling or somersaulting in that phrase. But you want to somersault, so you want to tuck. We don't want to somersault. Ideally, this is be the least stacked mass I could ever have. So the closer I get to that, the from higher I could be thrown and still not have that great a force at impact. Secondarily, aside from the somersault, you have this preoccupation with how to stand, okay? So what you're doing is you're keeping your feet on the hip vertical plane. It'll look like this, okay? So I'm on this line, and I keep my feet on that line. If in that effort my knees go towards my face, I'm going to bring the tailbone into a tucked position, and I'm going to cause all the problems we just said. In the X pattern, my legs will go like this. They will not be able to stay where my hips are. They can't do it. So usually what happens when we throw someone who's trying to tuck their legs, leave them on the hip vertical plane, they will flip in the air and land just solidly on the hip bone. They kind of do like a sit when they get flipped in the air, okay? You have to not resist nor assist the technique. So as your legs are going out with the centrifugal energy, you should let your legs go out. So rather than have my feet on this hip vertical plane, noted by this line, my feet go that way, as if I was trying to do this. So watch how my feet will go. In our dojo, that's north, so that's west. My feet will go west. Almost like I'm trying to step on that wall over there. I will still find my feet exactly like before, meaning I'm standing. I will still have no inertia when I get up, and I'm still able to resist somebody that's coming on me and be able to pick them up, okay? So let's get our feet, our legs, to come out and get our knees and our leg mass off the hip vertical plane. So training is always progression based. Okay. Can we make sure they're both on? That's to the batteries. Press stop, please. All right, listen very closely. Training has to be progression-based. No beginner should ever come in and do all that you can do. It's just, if that is possible, then you're not doing all you can do. It has to be so inevitable in your mind. Like today is Tuesday. I know for a fact tomorrow is Wednesday. It is inevitably Wednesday tomorrow. It is inevitably impossible for the beginner to do what I can do. Therefore, what they're being taught is what they can do. What they're being taught then is not the end all or the once and for all. They have to let go of what they've been shown in order to continue to progress. Not said diplomatically. If we're doing math, this is like, you're really dumb. I'm going to have to teach you how to count first. Counting is not the whole of math. We moved on now. There's not even any numbers in our freaking equations. I can't have you freaking out over where all the numbers are and how come 3 isn't after 2 right now. Let go. So when we first learned the forward roll, the biggest difficulty for the person is the hip vertical plane. They will constantly roll around the knee and the foot and roll onto their side. The reason for this is when the uncultivated mind is spiral rotated, it goes into a confoundedness. It loses where it is in space. There's a moment of unconsciousness in the middle of the roll. The deshi knows where they are at the beginning of the roll and knows where they are at the end of the roll, but has no awareness of what happened to them in the middle of the roll. And so they are unaware of how their hip came out of that vertical plane and how they came about rolling on their side. We can go to Adam's video. In Adam's video, he has what appears to be a recently new or relatively new Aikidoka. And you see her doing exactly this. Her hip comes out of the vertical plane of the quad, knee, foot, and she ends up rolling on her side. She is thereby, the problem with this is when she does this, she does not generate the bottom apex, nor is she able to pass the bottom apex on the vertical plane at the shoulder. And that's where they get injured. As she's trying to do this, she never realizes that you're just hurting yourself on the shoulder, but she realizes it hurts, and now she hates rolling even more, and she doesn't want to do it. So we have to fix the hip alignment so that they learn how to not stack on the shoulder. And yet we're making this, or this is being made more difficult for us because the newer deshi goes unconscious when they get topsy-turvied. So by giving them, so to speak, an awareness handrail, we can have them maintain some sort and or generate some sort of awareness on where the hip is so that they can stop stacking the shoulders. That looks like this. This is how we teach it. We start on the small forward roll because they're injuring themselves. That is what they're doing. They're injuring themselves every rep. So as I tell my senpai here, do not spend all class trying to get new people how to roll. You do a little bit and you move on. Tell them about tenderizing, a polite way of saying you're injuring yourself. We do small forward rolls because there's less inertia from the fact that there's not as much gravitational force coming down. This also helps them with their unconsciousness because part of their unconsciousness is that fear of falling. So they're touching the mat. We let them touch the mat. We tell them to pay attention to this line with your front knee and your front foot and your hip. So as they roll around, we want them to trace their foot on the ceiling. That'll guarantee that the knee stays in that qua alignment as they're going. And they come up like this. Again, this way. This was a progression for somebody who is still compromised by fear and subject to moments of unawareness. This is not the art. This is counting. We have a problem, and that is the force equation. Mass times acceleration equals force. What we're trying to do is disperse mass off of where the body makes contact with the mat. By dispersing force, by dispersing mass, there will be less force at those points, as I already said. By lowering the knee, like I said, we are decreasing the acceleration. And so our rolls slow down as they go. They don't speed up as they go. And by slowing down as we go while we're disseminating mass across the mat, there's less force at impact. Now someone can actually pick me up off the ground, throw me across the mat, and I will not get hurt. If I pick up somebody who's going to stack mass, pick them up off the ground, throw them across the mat, they're not going to do that for very long, if even a second time. So we throw them like that till they get used to it. In the next progression, we let them do it. We don't do the X patterns on them. We don't do the base displacements on them, just to work on these things, the fear, the unconsciousness. But that's just a progression too. It's not an application of the art. It's just working on you. Now we're trying to more tackle. Once they got that, we start tackling what that math is. Force is mass times acceleration. Let's start working with that, decreased force at impact. Towards that end, we have the feet going out that way. And now we start to throw a little harder. That makes the feet go out that way. And as I said, the person that tries to do this progression will always land on their hip. They just land on their hip on a front inward kazushi. And they always have that look because they still have the unawareness, okay? They're just waking up. They didn't know what happened or how they got there, and they wake up at the end of the roll. I'm sure we have videos of that where you could see the uke of that happening to them. When we start speeding it up, aside from that, there is also a very good reason on why you don't want to do that anymore as the acceleration increases from nage. And that is that the non-rolling foot is going to slap on the mat on this part. So here I am doing that same thing. I'll do it this way. And as the non-rolling foot, boom, it hits right there as it comes around. If you pay attention on the other one, and that makes no sense. There's no sport when anyone is trying to walk on that. There's no sport where people try to walk on their insteps because these are not weight-bearing anatomical elements. What we are doing now, and I'll do it again slow, but you can slow the video down and you will see it. I'm going to have to game everything. But as I take the other geometry and my feet go out, they're up off the mat until I get here to the balls of my feet, which is a load-bearing anatomical element, okay? And there's no risk of me, boom, pounding that outer ankle bone, okay? So we either make the jump from these progressions or we have set a limit on how much of the art we can receive, meaning we're not going to break you. Or if we do break you, that's it for your reception of the art. You have to get past that progression so that we can continue to put the information into your body. You can see how the energy is disseminating and the roll is slowing as she goes. She doesn't hit the side of her foot. She finds her ball of foot at the end. Easy peasy.